Hi guys and welcome. In this video I want to share with you and show you how I repair fixes and loops on records. I buy quite a lot of African albums and usually their condition is between good plus and very good. So there is in general always something wrong with the album, but luckily you can usually fix it just by cleaning a record. But when there is really something stuck in the groove, this will cause of course a skip and maybe worse a loop. A good example is this record. It has a loop on it and I thought it would be fun to show you how I would go about and fix it. So first of all, of course, we do a cleaning and we are now sure that after the cleaning it's absolutely clear, but there's still a skip. So then next step is with a magnifying glass or something similar, try to locate where is the skip coming from. As soon as I found it or found the location, I will take my little trusty microscope and try to really get a good idea what is happening in the groove. I will put up a link how I got it. You can get it cheaply on eBay for around $2. And recently I got a second one. Same price, but it has an added bonus feature of a clip. And that's actually very handy. Let me turn it on. When you now have your phone and you put it on camera, you can put it on. Let me show you how I do it. You put it somewhere in the middle. Then you magnify it and it is amazing what you can see on your record. So if I now take the record and move over the record, you can see all the stuff that is on the record. This is a clean record. Yes, I've cleaned it multiple times, but still you can see there's a lot of stuff on it. It's mainly scratches and damages. But this is really an easy way to see what is going on the record and see where the skip is coming from. And this is also where I differentiate between a skip and a loop. When I see it is a skip, I will try to fix it. And I think many of you know this trick is with a toothpick. I usually prefer a bigger one, which is a little bit more easy to handle. So I found out it works best when I wet this one, and then you go about removing the dust or whatever is stuck in the groove. So a little tip, this may be something little, but if you're right-handed, you easily go about it going from right to left or from your left to right. But I found, or maybe I thought too much about it, it's better to do it the other way around. And the reason is the way that the needle is going to the groove. So if you have something, for example, something like this, and this is stuck on the record, this is the needle, and can I show this? And it is now turning. You will see when it's made a full rotation, and it gets close to the needle, it will touch the needle from this side, not from this side. So it's better to move it like this. So if you're left-handed, you probably already did that automatically, but that is the reason that I try to remove dust in this way from the groove, because I think you have less chance of damaging the groove. Of course, disclaimer, everything I show here, you can do it at your own risk. This is just tips on how I fix some of my records, but it's no guarantee, and the worst thing is you can make it worse. So practice it on an old record, or don't take your most expensive one and try these techniques. So on this record, it was not an actual something that got into the groove. It was not a skip, but it was a loop. So with the microscope, I could take a picture of it, and here you can see it. So it's actually fun to see that this is really a loop. So the needle goes from the top to the bottom. So it gets in this groove, and then it goes in this groove. Then it comes to this groove, and here you can see there's a loop back. This scratch is causing the needle to go back one groove, and it is back in this one. Starts again, comes here, and this is what is causing the loop. And to remove it, this is not so easy. And I had no luck trying to do that with, for example, a toothpick. To fix this, I usually do this on my record or on my turntable record player and fix it in a slow way. And let's do that. Let's put the record on the turntable and try to fix it. This is where we have the loop. We try now to check where it starts. Yeah, I think I got it. So the first thing I usually do is put a little mark where I think approximately the skip is, and the skip is around here. And this is just for yourself, so you have an indication where it is and where you need to put your attention. So the record is clean, and we checked with the microscope that we are sure it is not something like dirt, that it is an actual scratch which is making and causing the loop. So the first thing you can do is increase the speed actually of the record. See if that helps. So we can do that first. So we can go for 45. But it all does not help. But if you're lucky, that can be enough, and then you're already there. So now the next step is, as we have to make a new groove, just put a little bit more force on the needle. I don't usually use this needle, but I switch to a DJ cartridge. And a DJ cartridge has the advantage that they run at approximately 4 grams, or you can even put them a little higher. So we will do that now. So we will remove this cartridge. Be careful, of course, that you don't hurt your stylus. So this cartridge is running at about 2 grams normally. And now we will increase the force to almost maximum. So that is on this table I can get it at 4.5. Then the next thing we do is we put the anti-skating to 0. So we put that at the minimum because we want the cartridge to have every possibility to go to the inside, so that it does not loop to the outside. So now, and I will also, you don't take half measurements, you do everything you can now to get a new groove which is in the right direction. So I always also push it a little bit to the outside with my thumb and help it in that way to go to the inner groove. This is easier if you do it with a DJ needle, as you can actually see where the needle is. It almost seems as if they've made this needle to do this. So now let's do this and help it. Let's make some noise again. And just push it a little bit as soon as you think you're in the area where the loop is. And as you can see the needle, I'm pushing it slightly. And there I pushed over it. Maybe I pushed a little bit too hard, but I went over the loop. I'll do that again. So it's easier if you know exactly where it is. Pushed it again a little bit over it, and you can do this say 3 to 5 times. And then the next step is you put on some anti-bias. So I'm now putting it at 2 grams anti-skating, and I keep the needle pressure at 4.5 grams. And now let's see if it can do it by itself. You can also do this again with end skating at 0, but I had the feeling I had already quite a nice skip. And it did it by itself. So that's already a very good sign, because now this record is playable again. Or at least you don't have to get out of your chair, push it and listen to the rest of the song. So now we do this for again, maybe 2 or 3 times. Normally I would do it around 5 times, because you really want to be sure that the new groove is stronger than the old rhythm. There was the skip. You will get a skip because you are doing this in a slow way. But the skip is, in my book, much more preferable as having a loop. There it was. So this is looking very, very good. Let's do that one more time. So this is already looking very, very good. And now you can leave it at this and say, okay, I'm happy with it. I leave it at this. But usually you want to push it and now see if I can also do it with my normal needle. So I'll remove the DJ needle and go back to my standard needle cartridge. Send skating to a normal value, 1.5. Turn this back to where it was. So it's best if you're not really sure, like I am now, what the right number was. You can always check, of course, with your digital. Don't do it at the record like I am doing. But to save a little bit of time, I'm doing it like this. I want to know, am I in the... No, that's what I was thinking. A little bit too light. I want to have it at 2 grams. And we are at 1.9. That's good enough for this test. And now we check if we can get it working also with this needle. Let me put on my amplifier again. So now fingers crossed that everything is working. But I have a good feeling about this one. We're not yet at the part. Yeah, and it's also working with this. So, Eureka, success! Great, success. We now have a record that plays from the start to the end and you don't have to get out of your seat. Now a little info on the cartridge I used. In general, I would suggest using a DJ cartridge, because they can handle the 5 grams. You don't have to do exactly this one, but try to get a moving magnet cartridge. As with a moving magnet cartridge, you can easily replace the needle if it gets worn down, because what we're doing is of course not good for your needle. You will wear it down and maybe even damage it, but the replaceable needle is usually available at a lower price, so that's a good alternative. Or maybe you have a worn needle you can use for this experiment. Now, you have of course need to decide what you're going to do, because the record is still skipping. Are you going to go one step further, or is this the finish? Well, there you have to balance it. For this record, for example, I will leave it as it is. The skip, I'm okay with it. I'm happy that it is playing now from A to B in one go. If you try to go one step further, don't go with a toothpick. My experience is when you use the toothpick to create the groove or a better groove or repair it, it will go back to being a loop. For some reason, the quasi groove you made with your cartridge is very delicate. and with your toothpick you can easily destroy it and you're back to the original loop. So if you want to go one step further and see if you can remove this skip, you can go with something like a needle or the pin. I would, in general, you need something hard, something metal. Don't go for something like a pin, but something better. So I use a sewing needle, which is a little bit bigger and has more, the tip has more the shape of a groove itself. I'm not yet experienced in this, or I have no steady hands, I don't know, but the success I have with doing this, especially with loops, is not very good, and that's also the reason I keep it as it is. So, if you like the song you heard, or the little part that you heard repeatedly, you want to hear more, you can do that in the next video where I will play it. Video is called, or this video series is called Obscure 70s Finds and Library Records or Soundtracks. Hope to see you there. Goodbye.